Hello, all of you. As you have enrolled for the test series for the upcoming main, which is beginning from 18th of October, I am here to give you an outline of the logic of division of the syllabus. The first very important thing that we have already discussed about, and second thing of handling the question. Because in geography, like optional, there is no standard rule that we follow to attempt the answer writing. The support that will be coming your way is also what I want to briefly talk about. You have taken writing practice yourself, or you have attempted main earlier. Whatsoever is the case for you, the test series that we are all set to start with is surely going to help you increase the edge over what you have attained as your level of perfection, as a level of understanding. And in order to make sense with what I am just claiming, I want to talk about few important things that comes up in a logical, marks fetching, time managing, answer writing, and what is the rationale with which we are taking the content matter divided as static and dynamic part. So if I talk about the date sheet, so coming 18th, you will have your first test, and as we have named it, static part of physical geography, paper 1, world geography. It will be covering all the 5 topics of physical principles of geography that will be inclusive of all the fundamental concepts and all the important processes that we need to be aware of, as it tends to create the foundation for geographical understanding and geographical. Now, as you prepare for it, and we are left out with very limited time, you must be doing that. What you need to understand is that a support material has been provided to you. This type of handwritten material has been uploaded on your portal. The first case reference is there. You can easily take up into your account to further enrich your understanding of the content matter. This class written notes gives you one of the best coverage of the static part of the syllabus and is surely going to improve your level of understanding. And as I committed that I'll be giving you the support not just in terms of model answer and my individual specific feedback to you, I'll be also giving you the relevant support material. So this is the example of benefit of such notes is that you get the names of the scholars which we generally ignore out while preparing for geomorphology. Steno Nicholas, Charles Lell. If examiner gives me specific names in the question answer writing, I need to be comfortable with what is the contribution by them. Because principle of stratigraphy, all of us are aware of. But it is related to Sir Charles Lell and Steno Nicholas that you need to take to your stride. And it is quite lengthy and giving up the coverage of near all part of geomorphology. As you can see, we have got all the unconformities reference, diagrammatic representation. This is what I'll ask you to take into account. Diagrams are the must in your answer, right? And that is the reason I insist in the class also that we are attempting drawing the diagrams rather than simply happily noticing or observing the projector image. And it is therefore that I always share the hand-drawn diagrams, which gives confidence to the students that yes, it can be drawn easily. And I'll just talk about it again. And this is how you take the flow charts into reference. Like you can take up the account of unconformities, and then you have got the unconformities that is divided into 4 categories, only sedimentary and sedimentary with igneous or metamorphic rock. That gives me the clarity. So I am learning, it is giving me clarity. So I can convince examiner by attempt. It is surely going to help you out. And if I just quickly turn on the pages and randomly will be pausing down at one edge or the other, you can easily justify how it is going to help you. Complete coverage of each and every important block that is defined in our terminology that is largely ignored if you don't take a geographical viewpoint of learning. Hypogene, epigene. I've learned everything because syllabus is talking about endogenetic and exogenetic forces. But if examiner says write about hypogene and epigene, you should be aware of. So that is how these notes are going to help you out. So you can take reference of it. It is already there in your portal. And please do note, freehand sketches is the rule that we follow in our class preparation. And you are certainly not required to get into those details. You are eyeing the upcoming main examination. But you can take support of flow charts and diagrams as is enlisted in these notes to further facilitate enrichment of your content. Everything, simple diagram of rock site, it automatically give you confidence. I can draw it. This sample reference. weathering and the types, slope development, approaches to slope analysis, slope decline concept, slope replacement, isostasy, Airy's and Pratt's view, endogenetic upliftment and loading of crust, exogenetic downcutting and deloading of crust. You have got all. Ice age and its termination. So you need to take the reference of these notes to justify your preparation strategy. So this is one information for which we are taking the time out today. And the other thing that I want to talk about is puzzling fossil record as the evidence of continent drift theory, manageable diagram, very easily available, but you need to convert it to your manageable sketch. And I always insist that you should take a reference of the fossil fern hair, Glassopteris, because this gives me the maximum coverage of proving Gondwana land, in spite of the fact that when I take up the reference of the time with which the Gondwana land is projected to have existed, birds were not origin. I can be selective with my reference, and you take the stride to draw the diagrams, because remember, practice makes you perfect. Practice is what is required. So when you start with your test, of course, you are putting on your viewpoint and your understanding, and the first test is largely about static part, which we have been preparing and we are very much confident about. You are always given higher weightage when you are attempting quality of answer in comparison to the quantity that you write. And quality in physical geography comes up with how you are managing load of diagrams which is available. And these diagrams with minor practice becomes very easy for us to draw. And you can see it is all handwritten diagrams and I have made it is very important statement, because we need to understand that the purpose with which we'll be clubbing up to fulfill certain objective, we need to develop the compatibility, as in what is your specific requirement to groom up your answer writing skills, and what is the way I can help you out with that individualistic purview. But what I'm right now talking about is something which is very general, and all of you must take that to yours. Magnetic declination, freehand sketch, manageable. I'll just talk about types of questions and its framing. Like supposedly I have encountered a question that it is geophysical studies that facilitated the validation of, revival of, this term we overemphasize, continent drift theory. I can easily give examiner the geophysical study as magnetic study, and this diagram can easily be introduced as I'm briefly defining geomagnetism with the dimension of paleomagnetism. If it's the first diagram that is coming up with the puzzling fossil record that proves that there was a combined landmass called Gondwana land and thus drift of continent. The second diagram that I have selected is also easily manageable. Why I'm insisting on the term manageable? Because I need to take care of time management. I don't have luxury of time in examining. Many diagrams, I have selected many of them, and each one of them are freehand sketches and can easily be attempted. If I take reference of the study that goes up with seafloor as magnetic tape recorder, I talk about and zebra strips. Now, if you are perfect, you can make it up as a three-dimensional diagram, or let it be two-dimensional the way it is drawn here. So, Brunn's normal is what is identified to be right now evolved. And when I take up the reference of the magnetic anomaly, the zebra strips that has been outlined by Redwine and Matthews, I am actually enriching positive thing to seafloor spread concept propounded by Harry Hess. It gives you that kind of it. Simple line diagram. I'm not showing curvature. I don't need to. 70 million years ago, we marked the beginning of Cenozoic era. And the zebra strips that have been identified by Redwine and Matthews talks about some 5 million years of history. So it's not completely deciphered. But as soon as I attempt this diagram, whether I'm writing answer on magnetism, I'm writing answer on geomagnetism, or the geophysical evidences for any of the tectonic activities, I'm automatically enriching my answer writing. That is what you should do. Iceland, the excellent case that goes up with mid-Atlantic ridge. And whenever we are talking about the important active volcanoes of Iceland, They are thus considered to be the example of Hawaiian type. Are you noticing it becomes manageable? I can easily see that North American plate, because we are aware of Atlantic Ocean, is not considered to be a separate plate by itself, and Eurasian plate. So East Atlantic is part and parcel of Eurasian plate, West Atlantic is part and parcel of North American plate. I have given examiner this, and I have drawn Mid-Atlantic ridge. I can easily prove that all the volcanic activities that I see in Iceland, the island country of Europe, it is essentially related to Hawaiian type of activity with Pele's here, because we are talking about oceanic divergence here. And when I take up the reference of oceanic divergence, I am giving examiner how it is that the passive and active plates are distinguished from each other. Do remember, geography is a spatial discipline. And when I talk about geography as a spatial discipline, and when I talk about the spatial dimension, I need to make sure that locations are emphasized in my answer writing, even if it is that I am willing to draw different types of diagrams. And develop the habit, develop the practice of generating. Arabian plate, every one of us is aware of. Nubian plate, every one of us is aware of. Somalian plate, every one of us is aware of. And in this reference, talking about Afar triple junction, and this triple junction that we are picking up here is to be identified as the basis of classify triple junction with related tectonic activities. And this is only one example. We can have plentiful examples to demarcate. And I don't think it is a difficult diagram for us to draw. We can easily make up a free sketch diagram of Horn of Africa and Arabian Peninsula. It's only about clicking in that right given point in time. And that comes up in practice. And that is the reason we'll insist that our answers are written more with the support of diagrams, flowcharts, and infographics, as I said in the earlier videos. And mind it, these are 3 stages of diversion, 1, 2, and 3, can be correlated to the 3 stages of Wilson cycle. Wilson cycle first 3 stage talks about development of oceanic crust, development of fault, pull apart effect, normal fault, continuous parting away, genesis of written here, no need to write, Rift Valley with pro. So I can easily see that we are having here Horsden Graben topography, so blocks. And if I continue with the divergence, then we can easily pick up the reference of mid-ridge development and a complete developed oceanic crust. Related. I'm writing answer on Wilson cycle. I can give examiner. Average writing will go with what? Wilson cycle has got 6 stages. Divide it. Wilson cycle has got 2 defined phases. One which goes with the development of oceanic crust, 1, 2, 3, and 2 that goes up with the closing down of the same. And as geographers, you can certainly add on the examples to it. And I think it is easy, manageable diagrams. Only way you can further save your time is that in place of showing these layers, you are simply drawing out, and I'm quickly stretching out lines to make the things proven. Let it be 2-dimensional. Diverging crust is leading to the development of fault. Done. Don't make it 3-dimensional. Question can be with island arcs. Question can be with types of subduction. Question can be with destructive boundaries, with types of tectonic forces related to it. And again, the same thing, don't draw the layers, simply draw one block of reference. So I've drawn out this arc and subduction, showing it as arrow. And I'm drawing out this arc, continental crust, and some shades like this with a trench. Labeling out trench here, and I'm done up with my answer. No need to make it as 3-dimensional. Such freehand sketches is a must in your answer. And in the physical geography that will be attempting on coming Sunday, it's such pictorial that you have to actually select out the diagram. Easy 2-dimensional diagram of hotspot, mantle plume, plate movement. And please don't miss to see. Emperor Seamount, it's a seamount now. And the older volcanic island, Moi, Mount Mauna Loa, and Lohi. Lohi is in making because it is right there at the top of the hotspot. And here is my movement of plate. Every one of us will write what is a hotspot volcano and how do we justify it. Hotspot volcano can be identified to be with oceanic, can be with continental, and interestingly, at non-active boundaries also, within quotes. Because I do correlate it to those areas which are tectonically not active. One thing that you should always maintain is that diagrams should be, because diagrams is what attracts your viewpoint the first, and same is applicable to examiner. So diagrams must be well labeled. If I show you some of the figures that goes up with exogenetic forces, a Daviscian, something very easy, so I don't want to focus on it. See here. I've encountered question on hydraulic geometry. This diagram will save maximum of my time and space because it is all self-explaining. It talks about all meander wavelength, amplitude, meander width with both concave and convex arcs. It also gives me the reference of the bends, line of high velocity, because we are talking about hydraulic geometry. So we essentially avoid talking about riffles and pools because that are more related to the features. So that can be avoided. Otherwise, we have labeled it in terms of diagram becoming foolproof. That is the reason I've used the term RP, and you can see that it has been applied here. This is pool and this is a riffle. You can take it. Easy 2-dimensional diagrams. What is hydraulic geometry? Identify the constituents of it, and once you have given space to this diagram and you are taking up the reference, and don't miss out that when we are talking about such type of diagram, you should very clearly label. This is where we are talking about river flow, Enna branching, anastomostic. Here we are more emphasizing on point bar deposits and cut bank. And diagrams are not restricted only to geomorphology. I have given examiner a free reference, absolute free sketch of that. Here I am plotting the number of organisms. Here I am plotting the types of habitat, land and aquatic and transitional. And my diagram itself is proving that once I come to transitional, I'll have maximum number of organisms. So this diagram is very well depicting examiner that what is ecotone and why ecotone will be identified with the largest number of species present. Because species overlap in ecotone tends to support both terrestrial as well as aquatic habitat and thus organism. It's myth that in physical geography, the diagrams can be constructed largely with geomorphology or to some extension with oceanography. I can construct it with biogeography with similar ease. I can construct with it with environment geography with similar ease. You just need to develop the approach capacity to orient towards. Hundreds of years and then primary succession. Bare rock, lichen, small annual plants, grasses that are perennial, and then oak and hickory, so climax community. Don't draw trees, straightforward draw these arrows. Pioneer species, intermediate and climates. Done. Question is asking to write about environmental range in determining organisms, both adaptations and diversity. So by default you can draw this. And we have got a very important topic which is mentioned both in our paper 1 and 2. I am talking about environment management, a very simple sort of a diagram that can be constructed, and I want to construct it right here in front of you. Environment management incorporate environment, society and economy. So if it is society and economy, you are talking about equitable. If it is environment and society, you talk about bearable. And in case it is environment and economy, you talk about viable. Trinity of environment management, sustainable development, dynamism, matter. Supposedly, I am encountered with any specific type of question which is not giving me a logical point to conclude. Like I am writing answer on tectonic theory, I am writing answer on island arc development. It will be foolish for me to conclude saying, thus I can conclude. I can simply leave it like I have explained the things. Or any specific scholar has been asked. Supposedly, we are being encountered with a question that we have seen with Penk's concept, we have seen Daviscian concept, we have been given the concept of LC King, slope analysis have been there where we have been encountering the specific scholar's contribution. In conclusion, for the dynamic question, when you are being asked about anything, explain the contributions made by Harry Hess in geomorphology. So I cannot conclude, thus we can conclude that Harry Hess was a big contributor to geomorphic study. Illogical. Harry Hess is essentially known for sea floor spread. And then we can take Harry Hess also at conclusion. Harry Hess' contribution led to the recognition of mantle convection. Harry Hess' contribution facilitated us to take the understanding, because Harry Hess was the scholar who talked about the oceanic crust development. So with mantle convection, because he gave recognition to mantle convection and conveyor belt, or you can call it active sea or oceanic, and also facilitated the understanding why oldest oceanic crust is not older, whereas when we talk about the continental crustal rocks, I can easily trace them to be older than 3000, 2000 million years. So I am I do follow standard rule of answer writing. It will be wrong for me to say that no, we should not, but then it will depend on the question. So I always advise you, as you will be attempting your test now, and with every test that you will be attempting, I'll be giving you the individual requirements that you need to follow and very updated model answers that will be by default helping you to manage out the content, because at least with the first two tests, we are having something static part, and in static part, we don't have much to add to. So you are already prepared with it, but this is going to help you out with it. Don't bind, and I'm writing it boldly here. Do not bind yourself with any specific frame of answer, but always insist your perception and of course understanding related. So this is it. So this is what I wanted to take for this particular class of ours. You can call it a pre-test class, which I'll be having many more in the times to come. Sincerely advising you to continue with your own sources of revision. Don't change the source, but just try to integrate these aspects in the handwritten notes that is uploaded on your portal to brush up your final content. And what I have insisted quite majorly is that practice to develop the capacity of time-saving manner of developing sketch diagrams. This is it from my side for today. See you for your first test on 18th October. Bye-bye.